In this video I'm following on from my review of Moza's excellent throttle quadrant. Following software update, you can now get haptic feedback individually through each throttle axis and better control over the panel lights. But more importantly, modelled on the FA18 is the landing panel. This can connect directly to the throttle quadrant or use it standalone. And in this video, we're going to test it out. Welcome to the SimHanger, my name's Mark, thanks very much for watching and let's get started. The Moza Throttle Landing Panel, or MTLP, is a separate purchase very competitively priced and forms part of Moza's rapidly growing flight simulation peripheral range, which includes the AB9 force feedback base. As per all Moza products, their packaging is exceptional and the product comes with two connection options. One is to use the standard USB, and the other if you already have the AB9 force feedback base or force feedback yoke. You can connect the throttle panel and the landing panel via the transit cable, the RJ11 connection, and save yourself a couple of USB ports, which is exactly what I've done as I've mounted them on my DOF Reality H3 motion platform. The unit itself is made out of a combination of aluminium and a plastic composite. Features the tail hook which you have to lift to engage. The same applies to the landing gear, so no chance of bumping them on or off. Two-way landing taxi switch and launch bar. 3-position flap switch. The anti-skid switch also needs to be lifted up before you can engage on or off. As you'd expect from something modelled on the FA18 landing panel, it features the jettison button to release stores or weapons, and the 5-position rotary, as well as the parking brake handle which also rotates and works as the emergency brakes. As each switch is independently identifiable makes it perfect for flying in VR. On the back, USB and transit ports. If using a standalone, you'd require the desk clamp, which is an additional purchase. Relatively heavy unit will sit sturdily on a desk if that was your preference. I tested it out in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. You'll see the respective units are not labelled. Hopefully this will be updated soon. It's because I'm connected via the transit cable. They are identified via USB. As this is a brand new product, there are no presets. You do need to configure it directly within the controls menu, as I've done here. Let's now give it a test. We're on the runway, ready to go, so let's get some landing lights on. And directly below that is the launch bar. Let's retract that. It's still extended. Flick the switch and that's done. Whilst we're in external view, we can just check the tail hook is working. Obviously we'd use this if landing on something like the aircraft carrier, etc. There it is, it's now deployed. Well, we're not on an aircraft carrier, so let's put that away. That's stowed. Launch bar is just below the landing light. Just double checking that. That's now in the up position, we're ready to go. Let's jump into the cockpit. We need to put our anti-skid on. So pull the switch up and forward. There it is, it's on. We can also check our 3-way flap lever, currently in auto, now half, and now fully deployed. For departure, nice long runway, I'm going to leave it in auto. Parking brakes are currently on. Give them a push to take them off. Parking brakes now released. Once the parking brakes are released, if we rotate the handle, it operates as an emergency brake, and pull it to put it on. As far as I'm aware, the rotation of the handle is not animated in Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. If I've got that wrong, let me know in the comments below. At the time I initially reviewed the throttle quadrant itself, the haptic feedback through the throttle axes was not yet implemented. Well, I'm pleased to say now it is. It's not force feedback, it's just a tiny little bit of vibration. Not really that relevant for the FA18 to be honest, but could be for other aircraft, as the FA18 systems are predominantly fly-by-wire. Although you can't see it, I am getting a very small amount of vibration through the throttle axes. Having the vibration on or off and the amount of vibration is configurable within the Moza cockpit software. Nose wheel steering engaged. Parking brake is off. Throttle forward and let's go. As we climb out, let's retract our gear. Flaps are already at auto. Push the throttle all the way forward. Already got my afterburners on, which of course you shouldn't do at this sort of low level with your gear extended. But I've configured the jettison switch for afterburner on and afterburner off. I mentioned there'd been an update to the lighting controls, And you can now control the intensity of the LED backlit display on the throttle quadrant and also on the landing panel itself. A convenient feature. A number of options are available within the Moza cockpit software. I have my landing panel light set somewhat subdued as personal preference. Let's now turn our attention to the pricing for the Moza throttle landing panel. Please note prices exclude any local duties or taxes that may apply in your particular region. And as always, before committing to an order, visit their website directly. Once again, links in the notes below to recheck and reconfirm pricing. Price is $149 and the same in pounds, which I believe represents very fair value for money in the circumstances. And for that money, you're getting a good quality product. Here's a quick glance at the specifications. Again, this information is available directly from their website, as well as a fairly wide range of additional information. And as always, link in the notes below. Moza Cockpit is their single suite of software that runs all their flight simulation peripherals. I'm using the AB9 and their throttle quadrant with the landing panel attached. Click on the unit and that's indicated here as one unit. This is a great place to start where you can check that every switch and dial is working, and at times to make a note of a number of button numbers that can help you get your configuration done quicker. It's also here where you can define the amount of vibration you want to feel through the throttle quadrant by simply moving the slider here. And in terms of the panel lighting mode, a number of options are available. Devices control it through the actual dial on the unit itself. Telemetry will match whatever you set in sim. And manual, well, I think that's self-explanatory. Here you can also calibrate any axes, something I didn't need to do on this occasion. Whilst the landing panel is designed along the lines of the FA-18, it is a standard peripheral, and you can configure the switches and dials to whatever you like to suit whatever sim you're flying and your personal preference. I particularly like it because it's got the parking brake and the gear lever. I've mounted it on my DOF H3 motion platform, and I normally use this when in VR. I can reach out and see which one is which just by touch. It's a whole lot easier than scrabbling for various buttons or switches on one of the other peripherals, for example. Is it for you? Well, that's for you to decide, and will depend largely on what type of aircraft you fly and the type of sim setup that you've got. Regardless of your opinion, it's a welcome addition to the range of flight sim peripherals available from Moza, who are quickly establishing a name for quality and usability. As always, thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you found this useful and informative. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. It helps the channel, which I always appreciate. Stay well, look after yourselves. I'll see you all again very soon. And ciao for now.